Another day, another sourdough loaf with Miss Jane Doe. She is healthy, she is beautiful. Now I'm gonna be measuring out 200 grams of starter. It's 208, good enough. Now we want 6 grams of salt, 9 grams, good enough. Now 600 grams of the King Arthur bread flour, 607, good enough. Now normally my recipe calls for 400 grams of water, distilled water, but I'm gonna do 300 because every other time that I've made my sourdough bread, I had too much water. The bread is too dense, it's too sticky, so I'm gonna try to do a little bit less this time and see what happens. I can always add more as I'm mixing and go from there. Now I'm just going to mix it all up and hope for the best here. Sprinkling some all-purpose flour on a cutting board, spreading it out perfectly so the bread doesn't stick too much to the cutting board. And I'm also gonna have some on my hands so that the dough is not all sticky all over my fingers, because that's what I do wrong every single time. Now normally I put this all over the counter, but that's also created a mess in the past. Now I've got my big dough. I'm gonna do a couple stretch and folds. Now I've cleaned and dried my bowl. I'm gonna spray some non-stick spray and rub it all around the inside of my bowl with a paper towel so that the bread doesn't really stick to the bowl, but I don't want too much. That's why I'm using the paper towel to spread it. And I'm gonna take my loaf, I'm gonna plop it down here in the middle, cover it with a towel and let it sit for 1 hour. Okay, it has been an hour. I'm gonna take my funky looking dough. I don't know if I'm really doing this right. It didn't really rise like I wanted it to, but I'm just gonna stretch. I'm gonna do a bunch of stretch and folds. All right, now I'm covering it back up, and in 30 minutes, I'm gonna do another set of stretch and folds. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. It's time for the second set of stretch and folds. The bread's still not really rising how I wanted it to, but we'll see. I struggle at the whole stretch and fold thing. I feel like I'm not doing it right. Pointers, please. Sourdough is hard. I feel like every single loaf has been different. All right, well, I'm gonna cover it and let it sit for another 30 minutes because then the next stretch and fold, I'm gonna be adding my add-on ingredients, which is the cheddar cheese and jalapenos from my garden. Look at all these jalapenos I just picked from my garden. They're falling all over the table. I'm gonna chop these up and put them in my loaf. So I lied, I decided I wanna do 4 stretch and folds instead. So this is gonna be stretch and fold number 3, and then I'm gonna add the cheddar cheese and jalapenos on my next one. But I've already chopped up all the jalapenos and the cheese. I'm ready. All right, 30 more minutes and then I'm gonna add in the ingredients. So this is gonna be the 4th stretch and fold to add in my cheddar cheese and jalapenos. So when I do a nice stretch like this, I think I'm just gonna sprinkle it in and fold it. I wanted to add more cheese and more jalapenos this time, which I think, safe to say, this is more cheese and more jalapenos than last time. I cut up 8 jalapenos and used half a bag of shredded extra sharp cheddar cheese. And then I think I'm just gonna put the rest of this right on top. Okay, this is what my dough looks like at the moment. It is full of jalapenos and cheddar cheese. This is inside one of the folds here. So now it's time for the bulk fermentation process. I'm gonna put a towel over this, let it sit on the counter for 3 to 5 hours. I'm just gonna go about my day. I'm gonna check it in 3 hours and decide if I wanna do the full 5 or if I wanna just leave it at 3. Okay, it's been 5 hours. Look how much she's grown. Oh no! So I wanna make 2 different loaves in 2 pans. I sprayed these with some non-stick oil spray. Instead of using parchment paper, I'm trying something different. And now I'm going to shape my dough. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm pretty much just gonna cut this whole loaf in half. So I'm just gonna spread it out evenly using a pizza cutter because I don't have the proper materials for this. Honestly, that's kind of works very well. Wow, good to know. Pizza roller, it's good for your bread. And now, one of these I want to make into a ball. So I'm just gonna roll this up. This dough is a lot less sticky than the ones that I've been making. All right, I'm gonna plop this circular shape in the circular pan. Now this second loaf is gonna go into the loaf pan. So I'm gonna spread this one out a little bit more, and I wanna make it more sandwich bread shaped. Now that I've had both of these shaped and I'm putting them in the pans, I'm gonna cover them up with a towel and let them sit for another 1 to 3 hours. For some extra pizzazz, I'm gonna put some extra cheese on the top. It's been 3.5 hours. These have been proofing and they are ready to go in the oven. I've preheated the oven to 475 degrees and both loaves are going in for 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. It's time to take these loaves out of the oven. They rose, they're beautiful. These may be the best loaves I have ever done. The cheese crusted on top. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to cut into them. Wow, so much airier. Crumb reveal. These are a lot spongier.